Hello, TVR2A. This is Professor Dunbar doing a video walkthrough for lab number 2. This is Pro Tools lab number 2. This is on a PC, so this is for PC folks. And this is called importing audio, where you'll be importing a stereo audio track called Music Bed Groove. It's a WAV file. You'll be bringing it into a brand new Pro Tools session. There's a few little startup things we'll need to do. And once we get that far, we'll go ahead and import the audio, and ultimately you'll be able to hear it. And then you'll do a screen shot of the window, and you'll be submitting that to Canvas in order to get credit for the assignment. All right, so first, before we do anything, I did want to go ahead and create a dedicated folder on this PC laptop, so that from now on, anytime we do a Pro Tools lab, the sessions will be stored into a folder, which I'm going to just call this TVR2A sessions. And most of you know how to do this already, but I'm going to go ahead and click on my little File Explorer link. It's down in my toolbar. I know you can't see it just off the screen, but I'm sure you've done this before. And I'm going to go to the Documents directory. And inside that Documents directory is where I'm going to place my new folder. Now, make sure you don't try to put it into this Pro Tools folder. That's a folder which is for the application, so it has its own things. You don't want to put any sessions inside of that. So ultimately, you're just creating a new folder right here in this directory. And I'm just going to do a right click with my mouse. I'm going to come down to the word new, and I'm going to choose folder. I'm going to give this a name, TVR2A, and I'll call this sessions. And from now on, I'll always be saving my work into that folder. And Pro Tools, for a session, what it does is it creates a new folder for each session that you begin. So each session will be its own folder, and that folder will contain all of the audio and all of the necessary files that makes that session work. So in essence, what you're doing is creating like a home directory of all your Pro Tools sessions, and then inside this folder, there's just going to be a whole list of different sessions that we'll be doing, about 8 or 9 different Pro Tools sessions. And they'll all have their own folder embedded inside of this new folder here. So just remember this. I call it TVR2A sessions. It's in my documents directory. And that's the first step. And right now it's empty. So I'll go ahead and close this. And I'll go ahead and I'm going to pause the video. I'll open up Canvas, and then we'll go ahead and get started. And we're back. So I've logged into my Canvas account. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and scroll down through all of these modules to get to where we're at. Okay, and we're right here, down here in Module 4, and we're looking at this Pro Tools Lab number 2 called Importing Audio, and you're just going to single click. So let's go ahead and click it. Now inside here, you're going to have some instructions. You're going to have links to a download, and we need to go ahead and download that first. Now remember, you're not going to click Start Assignment until you're completely finished with the whole project. First thing we need to do is download the audio file, which is this musicbedgroove.wave.zip. The way we're going to download it is click on the little downloader button here. It's going to download it up in here to my downloads. Okay, it downloaded, and it went into the downloads folder, and it automatically brought me to this, what they're calling an extract screen, because it was a zip file, so it needed to unzip it in essence. All right, so this is the file. You're going to need to remember this. What I like to do is I like to grab it and put it into that folder we created. This one, and I'm going to put it into that TVR2A sessions. So now it's in here. And it's a WAV file. This is showing as a cone because it's some VLC or something. And in essence, we don't need to play it yet, but we do need to know where it is. So right now it's in my documents folder and it's in the TVR two-way session. So just mental note, that's where that file is, because you will need to locate it when you bring it into Pro Tools. I'm going to go ahead and close that window. There's also a set of instructions right here for the PC instructions. So go ahead and click on that. It's a PDF and you can follow along in the, there's like a list of about 20 steps. And you can have that handy so that as you go through the lab, you're going to keep track. Okay, I already have it on a screen, so I don't need to download it. It says in order to complete this lab, you already have downloaded and installed Pro Tools Intro. That was our first lab. And then in order to get credit for this lab assignment, you'll need to submit a screenshot of Pro Tools showing me the audio file has been imported. And I think we're good to go. All right, let's go ahead and launch Pro Tools. So here is basically our dialog box to create the new session. So on our set of instructions, we've already done the first 3, which is download, unzip, and now get ready for that audio file. Step 4 says launch Pro Tools and create a new session. Name it music bed, import your initials. So here on this left column, make sure you have the word new clicked. Up here on the top, make sure you have the word session clicked. So new session, and let's go ahead and give this a better name. I'm going to call it music bed import, then put your initials, mine are GD. Right below that, it does say local storage, and we do want to double check this. So you're going to need to click on this drop down arrow right here, and we're going to need to change this to that new folder we created. So I'm going to browse. I'm going to go to my documents, and then I'm going to go to TVR two-way sessions, and it says select folder. Okay, so single click, TVR two-way sessions, select folder. All right, now you can see where it's going to put it. My documents, TVR two-way sessions. And that'll be for the rest of the labs as well. So once you have that set up, it's always going to put those sessions in there. Okay, now we're going to configure the session. We're going to set out the parameters. So here we want the WAV file .wav. We'll use the sample rate of 44.1 kilohertz. We'll use the bit depth of 16-bit. And then where it says input and output settings, I/O, instead of last used, let's click stereo mix. Get into that habit. That's a good way to give you a fresh start each time. There's a little box that says the word interleave. Make sure you have a check mark for it. Do not do anything else. Don't click here and don't sign in. Okay, and then you're going to click create. Lower right hand corner. And I am now in Pro Tools, and I'm looking at the edit screen, which is this screen right here. Okay, this is my edit screen. If you don't see this for any reason, so maybe it's come to a blank page, or sometimes students would get stuck on a no windows, do this for me. At the very top, make sure that you see that you're in Pro Tools, so it says the word Pro Tools. Make sure that Pro Tools is active, so I just click in it. And then what I do is I go ahead and I hold Control, CTRL key, and then I press the equals key, which is also known as the plus key. If you do that, that should bring those windows back to the screen. So that's just one of those shortcuts right there. All right, but this is the screen we want to be working on. This is the edit window right here. You can see it says the word edit. All right, now if for some reason it brought up a track, like a click track, that's happened in the past as well. If you see any kind of click track, you're just going to right click on it. So for example, just for the sake of what I'm saying, these instructions. If it did have a click track when you first opened, it looks like this. What you're going to do is you're going to right click. You'll bring up this little list and scroll down to the bottom where it says the word delete. That'll remove that track. All right, now you want to go ahead and make sure that you are using something we call slip mode, which is upper left-hand corner. There are four modes. Just make sure you click on slip. Think of slip as being like freehand, although we're not really doing any editing with this today. And then that's your edit mode. Next, you want to get yourself into the smart tool mode. And the smart tool, or all of your tools are located right here where you see the magnifying glass and all of this stuff. And right above these inner three tools is a very small bracket. And you'll single click on it and it will turn on these three tools, which is a trimmer, a selector, and a grabber. And all three of those activated at once is called the smart tool. Pro Tools will guess what you're trying to do when you're editing based on the position of your mouse. So let's go ahead and start with Smart Tool. All right, now let's go ahead and make sure that we are looking at the counter at the top, and this says minutes and seconds, 000.000. If it says anything else, click in that little drop down arrow and just make sure you check mark minutes and seconds. Okay, that's already done. You can see wherever I click my cursor is where that went. Also, the shortcut to go to the very beginning is your Enter key. So you can do Enter. All right. Let's double check that our playback engine is properly configured. That will make a difference. That is probably the biggest problem students will have in trying to get audio to play back. So we'll go ahead and go up to the top where it says Setup menu, and we'll choose on Playback Engine. And the Playback Engine is basically the driver that's responsible for all the audio coming in and going out of Pro Tools. If you're using an audio interface, like an external interface, you would want to make sure that you're using it as the playback engine. I'm attempting to use the built-in inputs and outputs of the computer, meaning I'm using the built-in mic, and I'm also using the built-in speakers. So that's what I'm trying to do, and in fact, I'm trying to use my headphones so that the speakers won't play because I don't want to get a feedback squeal. But in here, you'll notice my playback engine, this will be different for you, says Windows Audio Device. It says input, which is currently none because we're not recording anything in today, so we don't need to worry about that. But the output does need to say speakers and headphones, at least for me. Again, if you're using a different interface or a different type of computer, you might not see this exactly as you see it here. But whatever you use to listen to, so if it's your speakers or your headphones, make sure that you have chosen that for your output device. Here it says device mode. I just click shared. HW buffer size. We'll get more into this later, but the higher the better. So whatever the highest number is, I go ahead and click it. And then down here, it doesn't really make a difference what we're doing for optimization. So I just click on dynamic plugin processing. We're not even using any plugins yet, so that doesn't matter either. Okay, but make sure that you have an output device chosen, and that is the device that you expect to hear audio coming from. Click OK, lower right-hand corner. So that's set up. And now let's go ahead and go find that audio, and we're going to bring it into the session. Okay, so first step is we'll go to the File menu, which is upper left-hand corner of Pro Tools. We're going to click it, and we're going to scroll down here to the word Import, and then we'll slide to the right and click on the word Audio. All right, now it's asking me to go locate that audio file. So for me, this is how I do it. I click on my username. I click on my Documents folder. Double click, I should say. And then I'm going to double click on the TVR2A sessions. And that's where it is. It's this one right here, the Music Bed Groove. that's the actual audio file I want. So this is how it works. I do a single click. And then down here, you'll see the word copy files. And we're going to go ahead and click copy files. What that does is it takes that MusicBed Groove audio file, which is here, and it now puts it over to the right panel, which means it's ready to copy it and bring it into Pro Tools. All right, make sure all of this stuff looks the same. It says sample rate is 44.1, destination same. But that is really all you have to do. So once you've single clicked and you click copy files, the audio file shows up here on the right, which is your import method. And you can click on the word done on the right hand side. Single click, and now it does ask me one more question. And in this case, you want to make sure you click on the left hand corner where it says use current folder. And this keeps it bundled with your actual Pro Tools session that you're working with. So don't click open. Instead, click on use current folder. Now it brings me to the audio import options dialog box. And in this case, all we have to do is choose new track, location session start, and then click on OK. You'll now see that it brings it into our mix or into our edit window. I can enlarge this a little bit so it gets a little bit bigger. And then I can also zoom in with the plus lower right hand corner. So I kind of have a little more space to look with. I can see that it's about 60 seconds long. You can see my timing right here. And you should see two wave lines because this is a stereo audio file. So you have a left side and a right side. This is a stereo audio track, so any editing you would do would be done to both at the same time. Now we're almost finished. So we have copy files. We did the new track. It now shows up, and now we want to see if this will play back. So let's go back to the very beginning, which is hitting your enter key once. And then we're going to go ahead and hit the space bar, and space bar is the shortcut to play and stop. And let's see if we hear anything. All right, so you should hear a little keyboard or little drum, something like this. That means success. I brought the audio in. I can hear it. Now I just got to do my screen capture and then get it submitted to Canvas. So again, shortcut to go back to the very beginning is your enter key. And then to play it and to stop it is just press spacebar. I think it's sounding good. Now, just in case you want to take a look at your mixer window, and that shortcut is the Control CTRL, and again, that plus or the equals. And you'll see it brings up this other window right here, which is my fader for that track. And again, what I'm looking for right here where it says I/O, it says speakers 1-2, and that's how I'm able to hear it. If yours said something different, or if it looks like it was in italics, then very strong chance you're not hearing any of the audio. So you would have to go ahead and click here and make sure you set up your output. And again, these outputs, which is speakers 1 and 2, left side, right side, only shows up because my playback engine, which was a setup menu, has been configured to be my speaker and headphones for the output device. All right, so last step is to go ahead and take a screenshot of this window. Now this can be a little tricky, but in essence, you're just capturing the whole screen. So there is a little program on Windows called Snipping Tool. There's also a button that says Print Screen. I don't always have a lot of luck with print screen. Sometimes it doesn't work when I'm in Pro Tools. So what I'll go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and locate that snipping app. Ah, here it is. Snipping Tool. That's what it's called, Snipping Tool. What I'll do is I'll single click. And now it says, how do I want to capture? I'm going to choose new. You see everything goes dim, and I have a little crosshairs. What I'll do is I'll go upper left hand corner. I'm going to click and just drag it down with my mouse like this. I let go, and it just captured that image. Okay? And that's the image that I'm going to upload into Canvas. Okay, so I'm done with the snipping tool. I can close it. And I'm going to go ahead and save Pro Tools, which is going to be Control S. And then let's go ahead and quit it, which is Control Q. All right, so I have my snipped screen here. It's called Capture. It's on my desktop. And I'm going to go ahead and go back up towards the top of this assignment and click Start Assignment. So I'll click Start Assignment. I'll then have to scroll up so I can find the rocket ship. I'm going to grab that screenshot, and I'm just going to drag and drop it right onto the rocket ship. And now I'm ready to click Submit Assignment. And now I see confetti, and I know it's finished. All right, folks, that is the end. So make sure you've got that uploaded, and I will be able to look at it, and that's how I'll be able to give you credit so that I know that you were able to import that music bed into a brand new Pro Tools session. All right, enjoy.